Yesterday, we made a goof. Today, we'll fix it up for Sandy. Another shot at the money cards. Now, isn't that news dandy on Card Shark? And here's the host of Card Shark, Jim Perry.
Hello there, Barbara Stanwyck. How are you? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much, and welcome to Card Shark. Thank you. You're very kind. I hope you were with us on our last show. Let me just take a moment to tell you what happens. I mentioned from time that you hear me all the time saying, did you cut the cards? Did you cut the cards? Because we want to make sure that the last cut, the way the cards fall, ultimately is the responsibility of the players. What happens while we're playing the game, there are two decks of cards sitting back there, both money cards, the money cards for each of the two players. This has never happened, but in almost 3 years, but inadvertently, the wrong deck was picked up. Sandy Smith, our champion, won. They picked up the wrong deck, the cards that were cut by the other player. Now, naturally, it doesn't make that much difference, but it was not Sandy's cut. So to be fair, and the compliance and practices people always keep on top of that thing, they said, Sandy, do you want to play those cards? I mean, do you want to let that stand, the money cards that you played, or do you want to play another money cards with the ones that you cut? Sandy won $400 on those money cards. Sandy is nobody's fool. She said, keep the $400. I'll do it again and try for a lot more. I don't blame her. Sandy Smith. Hello, Sandy.
Hi.
Yeah, listen, you're entitled to the cut, and I admire our staff and the compliance and practices people from NBC for saying exactly that. They were the wrong deck. Doggone it, let's do it again.
Yes.
Now, you cut the cards, right?
Yes.
First of all, won't you tell us again about you?
About me, my name is Sandy Smith, and I'm a sales consultant for Crystal Products, and I'm married to a pilot.
Yes, and Sandy, incidentally, she won, even not counting that yesterday, she won $6,700 with one trip to the money cards. Let's add to the total right now. Let's open the board and get to those money cards. And the cards that you cut, we know. They're waiting there. And I hope you gave them a better cut because they weren't so terrific. Your opponent didn't cut cards that well.
No, he didn't.
Here's $200 and 3 cards on the bottom line. You're $200 of betting money, we give you 3 more cards. Minimum bet's $50 till you get to the top card, the big bet, where you must risk at least half the money.
Okay.
You don't lose on a double, you're by yourself, we'll carry it over. Good luck, and here's $200.
Right.
You can change the base card on each level if you need to. Thank you, Lois. We'll start Sandy off with a 5.
Change that card, please.
All right, you must play this one. You can only change it once. 200 and a 9.
I'm going to go lower.
With a 9, she's right with a 4.
Okay, I'm going to go 150 higher.
150. Higher than a 4. Yes, with a jack.
I'm going to go 300 lower.
$300 a big bet on a jack. Is she right? She is! And 700, the other 200, 9. Trying to double that $900. She does. 1,800.
$50 lower.
She's got a... She's right again.
Higher.
For 2,700.
Change it, please change.
Oh, a big change. Big bet. And 50. You've got 1350. 13. But at least 1350.
1350. Yes.
So you're going to come out with a bundle.
Say like
$1,050. That's lovely. Think about it. But if we had played that cut, we'll be back right after this. Now that we're giving you the Sandy, would you like to keep the $10,750? Sandy, you're doing well. Two
Yes,
brand new
I
decks
am.
of cards. Here comes a new challenger on Card Shark. Hello, Bob.
I'm a warehouse manager area.
Good. Are you also a cowboy?
Yeah, I like to electric bulls a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's a place in Martinez that has one.
All right. Bob, nice to have you here. It does hurt. You cut your cards, Bob?
I'd like to say, yes, I did.
And here we go. Best 2 out of 3 starts with a question to Sandy. Sandy, we asked 100 married men. She had just had a... Would you be jealous? How many men actually dream about another man?
Oh, I think they would be very jealous. My husband, I would hope that he would be jealous, and I wouldn't tell him about something like that.
Oh.
So I think it's going to be a high number, and I'm going to say 67.
67
Yes.
out of 100. Men said they would be jealous if their wife had a sexy dream about another woman. Bob, higher or lower?
I don't think really most men would even really care about what their wife dreams about. I know it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. I think it's going to be just a little bit lower than
Lower
that.
than that. If it's lower, you'll play your cards. If not, it'll be Sandy with hers. Hit the answer right on the head anytime, a $500 bonus. The actual number of men who said they would be jealous if their wife had a sexy dream about another man is 31. You're right.
All right.
So it is Bob who starts off the match with a 10.
Change that card, please.
You win the question. You can change the base card.
Oh, lower.
Lower than the ace. A 9.
Freeze.
I'll make
Like
quick
nines.
decisions. Boy, you're going to get up on that bull. You got to be careful.
I don't like the nines.
Bob, it's a known fact that sometimes false teeth can pick up radio waves and the wearer hears music. How do you change stations?
Click your teeth twice.
Click your teeth. All right. So we asked 100 people who wear dentures. Have you ever listened to the radio on your teeth? How many denture wearers have listened to the radio on their teeth?
Well, I'll tell you, I've never heard of it on dentures before. I've heard people who've had the fillings and stuff picking up radio broadcasts, but never dentures. I would think that would be a very small number, maybe 10.
10 out of 100.
Well, his logic sounds good and everything, but I'm going to say it's higher than that.
Higher
There's
than
probably
that.
a few people.
Maybe a few more.
Yes.
The actual number of denture wearers who've listened to the radio on their teeth is 1. Not higher. I think you're probably right. Maybe with the fillings, but not so much with
Let
the
me change
dentures.
that card, please.
And Bob can change that 9 to a 5.
I go higher.
Higher than a 5.
Oh.
Great for Sandy, and she gets a free chance to play a queen.
Lower.
Lower than a queen, a 5.
Higher.
Higher than a 5. No. Same thing.
All right.
5-4.
Sorry, Sandy.
Janice will fill in the spaces. All right. Sorry, Sandy. Says Bob. You don't mean that at all.
No, I really don't mean that.
Sandy, there's an old saying that women are like shoes and you shouldn't buy one until you try it on. So we asked. It's a very old saying, friends. You never heard that? Our
No.
writers just made up that old saying? No. That you shouldn't buy one without trying it on, right? Like shoes. So we asked 100 bachelors, would you insist on living with a girl before you married her? How many bachelors would insist on living with a girl before marriage?
Well, I think the key word is insist upon. Okay, they may suggest it, but, you know, it's going to be up to the girl anyway.
It might enter their thinking.
Exactly. So how many would?
How many would insist on living with a girl before marriage?
I
Bachelors.
think it's going to be a low number. I'm going to say 31.
31 out of 100.
I think today the people are a little bit more. They live together a lot, before they get married, but I don't think anybody insists upon it. I think it's even going to be lower than that.
Lower than that. The actual number of bachelors who would insist on living with a girl before marriage is 60, not lower. Higher.
Change the card.
Sandy. And Sandy, you want to change the queen?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the queen's
You could
my
change
card.
it if you'd like.
No, I'm going to go with the queen. I'm going to go lower.
Okay. Lower than a queen. Yes, a
Okay.
10.
I'm going to freeze.
You're gonna freeze. All right. Let's get our thoughts together there, right, Sandy?
Too excited.
Someone's going to have a long way to go, incidentally, right now, because both of you need 3 cards. This is sudden death. Someone's got to win it right here. Bob, we surveyed 100 people who have owned their home for at least 10 years.
10 years.
Fascinating. We asked them, if you discovered that the deed to your house was not legal and you had to buy your house for what it's worth today, could you afford to do it? How many homeowners could afford to buy their house for what it's worth today?
Well, I'll tell you, price of property has just skyrocketed. I went to real estate school, and you'd just be amazed at the
No,
price
I
of
don't
property.
think many of us would be amazed.
Well,
Most of us
I'll tell you, I
know.
was amazed. I was surprised. I knew property was high, but I didn't think it was that bad. And most people, their raises, the money they make, that doesn't even keep up with inflation. So I would say it'd be a very low number. I would say maybe 40 out of 100 would be able to.
40 out of 100 could afford to buy their house at today's price.
I'm going to say it's much lower than
Lower
that.
than that.
I really don't think they
The
could.
actual number of homeowners who could afford to buy their house for what it's worth today is 31. It's lower. Yes, Sandy's got it. Sandy, you've got control in sudden death, where you could play it for
that's
3
fine.
cards or pass it.
Okay, I'm going to pass it.
She's going to pass it. Bob, you've got to get them all to win.
Okay, I'll say lower. I mean higher. Higher. Woo.
Higher than a 5. No, it is lower. Sandy wins it. And gets game 1. Your first instinct was correct, but Sandy wins it. We'll be right back with game 2 after this.
There is a rhythm.
It's very frustrating. They're friends, but you've got to come out and try to beat their brains out.
Yeah.
on it,
You know, when you're sitting back there, you get a chance to just, root for them and everything
Yeah.
like that. And they're like, with Sandy, we're back there yelling for her. Now I'm
Yeah.
out here. I want to.
Now you want to
But
get
I wish him luck.
Same
No, but
2
I
decks
wish
of
him
cards
luck,
have been
too.
dealt out, but the next card's off the top of the deck. Sandy has that first game, so Bob better get her right now. We start with Sandy.
Okay.
Sandy, we asked 100 psychiatrists. Generally speaking, does all the attention given to sex in our culture lead people to expect too much from their own sex lives? How many psychiatrists believe all the attention given to sex does lead people to expect too much from their sex lives?
Okay, you ask psychiatrists. My opinion is yes, it does. I'm going to think that they think so too. So I'm going to go that it's going to be kind of a high number. I'm going to say 67.
67 out of 100 psychiatrists said yes, people do expect too much.
I kind of tend to agree with that thought myself, but I think it's just going to be a little bit lower number than that.
Lower than that. The actual number of psychiatrists who believe all the attention given to sex does lead people to expect too much from their own sex lives is 89, not lower, higher. Very much higher, very fascinating poll. And Sandy comes out on top and starts with a 7. Can she improve it? Yes, with a 10.
I'm going to go lower with the 10.
Lower than a 10. A 9.
I'm going to freeze.
Taking a one-shot advantage to keep Bob away from his cards. And Bob, the question to you. Now, Bob, President Reagan says that the Russians will lie, cheat, or commit any crime to get their own way. So we asked 100 Americans, do you think the United States should do the same? How many Americans think the United States government should lie, cheat, and commit any crime to get its own way?
Well, after looking at the politicians we elect, it seems like we say that already. I would have to say it's going to be a fairly high number. I'll say it's going to be about 76.
76 out of 100.
I disagree. Regardless of the politicians or anything like that, I believe that we are true Americans and we don't believe in, lying and stealing. And we think just because it's right for them, it's not right for us, and it's going to be lower.
Lower than that?
It's going to be lower.
A lot of agreement from the audience. The actual number of Americans who think the United States government should lie, cheat, or commit any crime to get its own way is 19. You're right, Sandy. Very much lower.
Please change that card.
Now Sandy wants to get rid of that 9, winning the question with a queen.
Lower.
Lower than a queen. No. King pops up at the wrong time, but a good time for Bob and a free chance at a 5.
I'd go higher.
Higher than a 5. An 8.
Nah, freeze. That ESP that done me in a while ago. I don't know.
Question 3 going to Sandy. Sandy, we sent our man on the street to Paris, France, where he asked 100 women, do you support the women's liberation movement? How many French women do support women's liberation?
Well, I think in France, the women like the men to open their door and things like that. And a lot of people have that idea that that's what that's all about. I disagree with that. I believe that you can be liberal and still have a man open the door for you. But I think in Paris, it's going to be a low number, so I'm going to say 42.
42 out of 100 French women support women's liberation.
I think that liberation is trying to take it over all over the whole world. I think the women are just trying to take over everything. So I think it's going to be a little higher than that.
Higher than that. The actual number of French women who support the women's liberation movement is 87.
All right!
Right.
Change that card, Jim.
Now, Bob, you're rid of the 8, then the 8 becomes a 9.
Time any Christmas. I say lower.
Lower than a 9. No, it's 10. And Sandy with a free chance off the queen. Lower, she says, a 5. Higher than a 5, a 2.
All right.
Bob is still in it, and again, both players need 3 cards. Someone's got to have a long way to go because we face sudden death once again. Bob, we asked 100 single women, is it possible for a man to be so perfect looking that you just don't find him appealing? How many single women said it is possible for a man to be too perfect looking?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard my wife say that a couple of times. You see these guys, muscle-build guys out on the beach.
Oh, I thought she was talking about you, Bob.
No, not me. I'm just perfect for her. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's possible that a guy can be too good-looking. It probably distracts away from his personality or something. I would say probably a medium number, maybe about 42.
42 out of 100 single women said it's possible for a man to be too perfect looking.
I don't think it's possible, so I'm going to go the way I feel, and I think it's lower.
Lower than that?
Yes, yes.
I don't know whether it's possible or not, but I know I've sure given Gene Wood an excuse now whenever he strikes out. 42 and lower. The actual number of single women who said it's possible for a man to be too perfect looking is 64, not lower, higher. Bob gets control. And Bob, with control, you can play it or pass it.
Turn the favor.
He's returning the favor. You need them all. Lower than a queen, says Sandy. Yes, with a 7.
Higher.
Higher than a 7. No! And Bob ties it up. We have a tie. Both players getting control in sudden death. Tiebreaker coming at you right after this. We have a tie in a good match. Each player with 1 game. Tiebreaker. 3 cards up there, 3 questions here. And as we left off, the tiebreaker starts with you, Sandy.
Okay.
Sandy, we asked 100 housewives, have you ever cooked up such a disaster in your kitchen that you dumped it in the garbage before anyone could see it? How many housewives admitted they've done that?
That's going to be a high number. Because
yeah?
yes, because I've done it. I really have been so embarrassed by
What did you ruin?
pie.
Pie.
Yes. So I'm going to say 71.
71 out of 100 housewives have done so bad they had to dump it, Bob.
Well, you know, I do the cooking in my house because my wife, she works, and so I do all the cooking, and I know I've thrown things out before she got home. And I'm not a housewife by anybody's stretch of imagination, so I think it'll probably be a little bit higher than that.
Even higher than that. The actual number of housewives who've dumped their cooking in the garbage is 46. Not higher, it's lower. Hey, you gotta go a long way before you gotta dump it into the garbage. Sandy starts the tiebreaker with a 2. Higher than a 2. A 6.
Higher.
He's gonna try to go all the way. No. Bob is still in it, and he has a free chance at a 3. Go higher. Higher than a 3. A queen. 4. We have a new champion if it's lower. Yes. Bob wins it. Coming incredibly high. And Sandy, we have to say goodbye. Boy, you've done well. $10,850. Sandy, thank you. You've been a delight. Sandy Smith and Bob Keck, come on down here with me. I don't know if everybody heard it, but Bob was saying congratulations, Sandy. Yeah, she was a good player. Let's see if we can keep up the good work. Now, you cut the money cards?
Oh, yes, I did.
We have grabbed that deck, and the compliance and practices people are being very sure that we got that deck.
Very good.
We're going to get over and play it right now. Here we go. Can you girls walk in those skirts? Very carefully. Don't make them bend too much. Barbara Stanwyck and Joan Fontaine are going to try to deal out the cards here. And it's 3 cards on the bottom line. I wish, gee, if it were down just a little lower, you couldn't do it at all. You know how to do it, of course. $200, $50 minimum bets. Big bet, you must risk at least half the money. Couldn't even reach up to the top either, could you, Jan? Hey, can we arrange for them to wear those outfits every day? That's terrific. You all set?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here's $200. And you can change your base card on each levels. Of course, you don't lose on a double now. You're all by yourself. $200, starting with a 9.
I'd like to change that card, Jim.
Only change it once. You've got to play this. A jack.
I bet $100 lower.
$100 if this is lower than a jack. And it is with a 2.
I bet it all higher.
Trying for $600. Higher than a 2. Yes, with a queen.
All lower.
Again, trying to double it for $1,200 lower. And he's right again.
All right.
Good job on that level. We're going to move up to 7 and give you the other $200. You've got $1,400.
Card, Jim.
All right, you made a pretty good change before. Can he do it again? Oh, yeah!
All right.
$1,400 on a queen.
I want to bet it all lower.
And again, it's double to nothing. We have no more money to give you. I hope you're right. $2,800 if it's lower. Oh! Tough time for an ace to come up there, Bob.
Well.
You were rolling, but that's a dangerous card, the queen. There were 2 more queens and 4 aces and 4 kings. But, well, look at it this way. You defeated a tough champion to get here. You've got the $200 for winning the game. And most important, you're going to play again. Maybe you'll get a crack at it again. He's obviously a gambler. Maybe he'll come away with a bundle. We'll find out. We'll be right back. Champion Bob Keck, and we run out of time. Bob, we'll have a new challenger for you on our next Card Sharks. He's a gambler. He could come away with a bundle. We'll find out. I hope you'll be with us for that. Nice people in the studio today. Some from Boscobel, Wisconsin, and from Chicago, Illinois. And then we have a group of students from Kennedy High School in Granada Hills, California. Thank you, as always, for joining us, my friends, and we'll see you next time on Card Sharks.
This is Gene Wood speaking for Card Sharks. A Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.